Hey, Christy from KBShimmer here. One of the questions I get asked the most often is how do I properly apply glitter nail polish? I know that glitter nail polish can be a little bit trickier because unlike a plain color, you've got glitter that can drag as you're applying. So I thought I'd show you today how I do my manicures. I'm going to start out by showing you what the products I use. I start out with my pH balancing nail prep. Then go on with the base coat. And we've got our glitter polish, and this is Pimp My Pride. And then I follow with a top coat. So I'll just show you quick. I start out with my pH nail prep. And I do have a brush here for cleanup if I need it. And I'm just going to apply that to my fingers. And what that does is just make sure I don't have any extra oils, any contaminants on my nails that may not let the polish adhere properly. So once I've got that on my nails, it dries in about 30 seconds, so it's pretty quick. Then I apply my base coat. Base coats are super important. It not only prevents your nails from staining, but it helps your nail polish adhere to your nail. Nails are a slick surface. They're not something that originally was designed to have polish on it. You know, it's just not the way our human bodies were made. And some people do take polish better than others without base coat, but myself, if I don't have a base coat on there, I do tend to get chips or polish will peel. So after I've got that applied, I am just going to let that dry. Okay, our base coat is now dry, so we're going to start out with our glitter polish. I like to roll it and give it a little shake before I start. Not only does that make sure that the glitters are distributed evenly throughout the polish, it helps loosen up the base so it flows easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip my brush and get a little on there. Make sure my nails are in the camera. I like to scrape off one side so we have not too much on the brush. Then I start by applying a dot in the middle. Then I'm going to sweep down the center and go back over the sides just to make sure the whole nail is covered. Let's see if it'll focus if I do it this way. I'm going to do the same thing. I have a dot in the middle, sweep down, and over the couple sides. At this point, I don't worry about being too neat because I'm going to go back and clean up when I'm done with this first layer. And if you don't get a ton of glitter, that's fine. The second layer, that is going to get more glitter for you because it's going to, the glitter is almost going to get stopped up on the glitters that are on the first layer. So it will build. This first layer, the glitters do move a little bit more. Just kind of apply it like that. And thin coats are perfect. If you get too thick, the polish isn't going to be able to dry properly. Especially with glitter polish, if you have thick layers, you could get layers that want to peel off because they've never dried properly. So start with a thin layer, and you're going to do a couple layers. So don't worry if at this point you still see nail line. So I'm just going to take my brush. This is an e.l.f. Brush from Target. They're $1. It's their concealer brush. And I have a little thing of acetone over here. All I do is dip the brush in there and kind of wipe it off again to make sure it's not dripping wet. Then I go back with the brush and I just go around my edges and my cuticle area just to clean up any problem areas. There are bloggers that are much better at this than I am. This is just what I do. Usually it takes me forever and a day to paint my nails because I'm going so slow, my hands shake, and I tend to make a mess, especially on my right hand because I am right-handed, so my left is not the best at painting. So I am just using the brush to clean up around my skin and my cuticle area. Just making sure that I don't have anything left there. I just personally find again that if I wait, it's not going to be as easy because the polish is going to be drier. So if I do it layer by layer, it works out better for me personally. Okay, I'm going to let this dry and we'll be back with a second layer in a bit. Okay, our first layer is pretty dry. So we're just bringing it down the middle again and just kind of sweeping it over to both sides. Then I'm kind of touching the tips. Again, I'm not trying to use too thick of a coat. With white polishes, I usually do use 3 coats. Just to cover the nail line. If you don't want to do 3 coats, you can always just do a coat of your favorite white cream and then 1 coat of your glitter polish, your white glitter polish. Just down the middle and sweeping over the sides. And I'm using a pretty light hand because I don't want to sweep all the glitters away. I just usually kind of go over it a couple times just to make sure that I don't have any polish lumps and it's all on evenly. So again, after applying, I use my brush to clean up anything, and I usually just work on a paper towel so I can just kind of wipe it directly on the paper towel. And you kind of just have to find out what's comfortable for you. You may feel better using, your fingernails to kind of scrape things away. I just like using the brush, and there's many different brushes out there if you don't have a target. You're just looking for something with short bristles that are pretty stiff because you don't want them fanning all over your finger. And if you have any glitters on the side or anything like that, you can just use the brush to kind of pick those up. And see, this one I did not so good job. It's kind of gotten into my cuticles there. So just apply. So that's the second coat, and I'm going to let this dry and we'll be back for the third and final coat. Okay, we're back for a third coat. I'm going to try to keep in the camera the entire time this time. So let me make sure, okay. Again, we're just using a thin coat, going down the middle. And dragging. Just got a little on my skin there, so I'm going to clean that up. Again, kind of a spot in the middle. drag that down, and then off to the sides. In the middle, and off to the sides. Okay, make sure. So down in the middle, then sweep off to the sides. Okay. And if at the end you kind of have a glitter that hangs off the edge a little bit, you can just go and kind of tap it back in place. And I just put a little bit more color on my brush, and I'm just going to touch the ends again just to make sure that I do everything I can to prevent my tips from wearing down quickly. Okay, I'm back. My coats have dried, and on every finger except the middle I have applied a top coat. It's my KBShimmer Clearly on Top. It's kind of a thicker top coat, so it covers the glitters really well. You can see how the glitters with the top coat almost appear to be floating, very smooth, shiny look, and how on this finger still looks pretty bumpy or rough, that it doesn't have that same kind of look to it. So that's definitely why I recommend a top coat. And let me get it back in focus. With a top coat, I just do it very similarly to putting on the regular polish. Put a drop on my nail and just kind of sweep it off to the side and making sure I get all of the nail, and definitely touch the tips again to help reduce tip wear. And that's it. That is Pimp My Pride with top coat. 3 coats. Hope you guys enjoy.